Hey everybody, welcome back to possibly a podcast.
We changed the name.
Oh yeah, Permanent Detour. I forgot we changed the name.
Forgot the name change.
We're only 10 episodes in and we forgot. We're here with our first ever guest today. Hi Jack, Cactus Jack. Say hi to everybody.
Hey guys, I appreciate being here. I appreciate you guys inviting me onto the show.
No, you're welcome. I know it's harder to get on than the Joe Rogan podcast.
That's true. We're pretty exclusive. How does
It's
it feel having a McDonald's meal named after you?
It feels like great. It's
How do
an
you feel
honor.
about McDonald's?
McDonald's?
Yeah, if we're gonna rate it.
I mean, McDonald's, it's okay. It's better than mid. I mean, it's not like...
I mean, we got the McChicken. $1 can't go wrong.
Yeah, I mean the
McChicken.
dollar menu's good. Like it's not as bad as Burger King, but Wendy's got the better deal.
Wendy's
For $4, you get like
So no,
way
the
more
thing
than
is,
just a McChicken.
Wendy's regular food is bad. Like I never get a regular combo from Wendy's. I only ever get a 4 for $4.
Yeah, that's true.
I feel that. Or I used to get their bacon pub pretzel.
That was pretty
bomb.
good.
That was
all right. That was actually
That was
pretty
like
good.
the only time I'd ever dropped
That's true.
But nothing beats a McChicken for $1. It's good.
Yeah.
It's not great, but I can't be mad. It was
It's
$1.
Well,
it's
listen.
it's virtually worthless.
But it was $1.
Listen, so like when I would get my stimulus check or anything and people are like, you should save it, I'd say, okay, I could either spend it on like some designer outfit or I could get like 1,000 McChickens with it.
The McChickens,
yeah.
obviously.
1,000 meals.
Yeah,
you know?
McChickens. That's a pretty good deal. Like you, I mean, imagine that. If you eat just one McChicken a day, that's 1,000 days of eating.
The other thing is too.
You could live for like 3 years off of just that one stimulus check.
No, that's true. No, so like the Dollar Tree, right? People are like, oh, you buy food from there, it's $1, right? And go to McDonald's, get the McChicken.
He's on his spiel about the Dollar Tree. This man is the king of the Dollar Tree.
No, listen, they have so
Comes
much
up
good
to me
stuff
one
there.
day. He's like, dude, Dollar Tree's got the snacks. You got to come with me.
They do.
I'm like,
dude.
all right.
Tree.
Those 1.5 liter bottles of soda.
That's true.
though.
You can get 1.5 liters of Mountain Dew for $1.
It's in like the sweet spot of like this is all for me, but like if I have a party, I can like pour this for multiple people.
If I have 2 people, we can split it. You mean?
Yeah.
You cannot pour 1 liter of Mountain Dew at a party. It will be gone in 2 or 3 drinks.
Not like a party, but like 2 or 3.
Yeah,
people.
a little get together.
I mean,
like
to
this
be fair,
like this
Gathering.
party of a podcast we got going on today.
Dollar Tree is still way better than Dollar General.
That's true.
Well,
That's so true.
You can never hit his bottom of the barrel as Big Lots.
Dollar General is worse.
Dude,
I would
I
argue.
saw
Yeah.
at Big Lots last time I went there. I saw like a futon for like $150, and
That
it was
must
like
be
nice.
a good futon.
Where was that?
Big Lots.
Big Lots.
Big Lots. I'm
Big
saying
Lots.
no. Dollar General's a scam because remember when we went there when we were kids and they were selling stuff for like $15. It's
Yeah,
not.
they're like it's roughly $1, but not
And
all
now
of it.
Dollar Tree is $1.25. Oh, we already talked about that in the past episode.
Yeah,
That's true.
it's a
All right.
crime.
Well, moving on to the biggest news of the year: Will Smith slapping Chris Rock across the face.
God.
Oh, we're gonna start on this one.
Oh, you know
Yeah.
Me
it.
and
of
Jack.
course.
Actually, before you got here, me and Jack were talking about this for
we
a
were
little
talking
while.
about it a lot.
And he just
Or-
received his sentence.
What's his sentence?
He is banned from the Oscars and all Oscar-related events for 10 years.
Whoa.
Dang.
Sorry, Will Smith. I guess you shouldn't have been an asshole in public. We're not at the 5-minute mark, and I swore. YouTube's gonna get rid
That's
of
a
us
pretty
now.
tame one, so it's all right.
Yeah, it was
That's
a
That's
tame.
tame,
It was a
it's fine.
tame one.
But here, let's move.
You're referring to a body part.
See, exactly. Or he could have been referring to a
seriously.
donkey. He
That's
could have been
true,
referring to a donkey.
It's
Exactly.
That's
That's
still-
not
it's still a body part.
YouTube, please, just go over
No,
that.
It's fine. It's fine. But
We're
like,
talking about the anatomy of a donkey.
we're talking about Will Smith, who he messed up, and he also resigned from the Academy, so he can't vote. And normally, since he won Best Actor, he would normally present Best Actress next Oscars, like he'd be the announcer. Not anymore, obviously. And did you guys see that his daughter wrote a letter to Tupac when she was 11, and it leaked, and it says, "Tupac, I know you're alive. Please come back so my mommy can be happy."
Oh,
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah. I mean,
I just think it was unfortunate. Chris Rock kind of got the. Well, I think this is.
it was embarrassing. I mean, the guy's a comedian, and he did his job, and he made a
No,
joke.
I get that.
And he got slapped for it, and basically it made him look like the ass for a second. But Will Smith's the one in the wrong here.
I don't support
Right.
I don't support Will Smith or what he did, but
Me neither.
this was a long time coming. I think he just snapped because this whole thing with his wife has been going on for 20 years.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, Chris Rock even said it. He's like, dude, it was a joke.
He
He was like, it was a G.I. Jane joke. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, but Will Smith is super insecure about his wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Any man would be.
I mean,
But his wife has cheated on him 5 times, and he's still with
and
her.
one time
but
with his
to,
son's
to make
friend.
it all right, it's a open marriage. The first
It's an
dude
open marriage
was
for her.
August. Yeah, it's an
Or
open marriage
the
for her.
rumor is Will Smith is secretly gay, but he doesn't want to come out, so he stays with his wife and lets her, do whatever she wants.
But like,
No, I don't think he
no.
would cry at the red table discussions if that was the
have
case.
you seen that?
Yeah.
Have
No,
you seen that?
he loves her and she does not love him back.
She loves
No,
Tupac.
she really
She loves
doesn't.
Tupac.
She's a monster.
She
I
was-
can't believe she's dragging my man Will Smith through the
She
mud.
was devastated when Tupac died, as many
Yeah,
people
she
were,
was
but she was like, they were 100% in a relationship. And it's, I mean, like, his daughter asking Tupac to come back.
Come
like,
on.
Yeah.
Like, how does Will feel when you're...
Did you hear about what her comment on her wedding to Will Smith about
Oh, how it was
how she
terrible?
didn't want to marry him and she cried after the horrible wedding.
Yeah,
That was so
And then
terrible.
on the red thing, Will Smith is like, yeah, I spent 3 years planning her 40th birthday to make the biggest, best event and showcase of my love, and she hated it.
Yeah.
She absolutely hated it.
She's a monster. Usually we try to keep this light, but I'm not a fan of her.
No,
I
she's
don't
done a lot
like
of
her.
terrible things.
Now, can we just point out one thing quick? So the shark, or not the shark, the fish from Fish Tales slapped Marty the zebra in defense of Gloria.
That's true.
Let's
Wait,
just look at that for a
Well,
second.
they
does Jada
can't-
Smith really play Gloria?
Yeah,
I don't
no,
think, I, don't
there's
think
no-
I ever remember
No,
that.
she's
Madagascar.
Gloria.
Did they record the lines from Madagascar 4 yet? I hope they did. Otherwise, it's
I
gonna
hope
be
they did.
real awkward when Chris
I'm gonna-
Rocking and
Listen,
Why? She probably wasn't offended. Will Smith was.
No, she was. Did you not see her face during the thing? He was laughing after the
Yeah.
joke was said, right?
Yeah,
And
I
then-
know.
and
She was
then-
like, "Go slap him, or I'm gonna cheat on you again."
No,
But-
seriously.
Have you
Well,
seen
it's an
the-
open marriage, so
It's
it's
so
not
funny
really
where
that, but-
the memes where he sits back down. She goes, "Tupac would have knocked him out."
Tupac would have.
Have you guys seen the things on YouTube where it's like the VR ones where you can rotate it? It's like POV or Chris Rock getting slapped by Will Smith.
That's
And it's
pretty
like,
That's
funny.
funny.
It's like some Minecraft or I forget what the game's called, but it's like some type of thing like that.
My favorite one was the one of Peter Griffin running up on the stage and punching him in the face.
It's POV Chris
Yeah,
Rock.
POV or Chris Rock, and it's just Peter Griffin running up and punching the camera.
Yeah. No, it's
My
good.
my poor guy. Well, in other
Will
news,
Smith really going through it right now.
Yeah.
He's really going through it.
well.
He's been going through it for a long time.
Well, at least we have happy news. Marvel's pumping out more Marvel for us to enjoy.
more
They've
more
been- they've been-
garbage for us to eat.
Well, this isn't really terrible. I mean, you watched the Eternals, unfortunately, but
Yeah, all right.
we're not.
Let me give a quick 5-second review of that.
All
I
right,
watched the
good.
Eternals
I'm
last
timing
night,
you.
and let me just say, night ruined. All right,
yeah,
that's the
that
end
was
of
a
the review.
that was a good
That's it.
review,
That's the
and
end
you
of the
hit
review.
you hit right around the 5-second mark. Yeah, but Moon Knight came out, and that one's pretty wacky.
I've actually really enjoyed it because I'm gonna be honest.
It's new.
It does not. It is the first MCU property since I think Iron Man 2 that does not feel like an MCU movie.
it's
well,
there's only 2 episodes out right now. Though,
Only
right?
two,
Yeah,
yeah.
we're only at the second episode right now.
If they just released the show and they didn't play the
How
MCU
many-
thing at the beginning, I don't think people would know.
Well,
yeah.
it still has the Marvel like feel to it. I think.
I don't think so. It does
Yeah,
not feel
it's
like
just-
a Marvel show
Here's
to me.
here's why it feels strange is because it's the first time Marvel put something out that's not one of the Avengers in like 2 decades.
Seriously.
It's been like 15 years and it's like all been like MCU with the Avengers and like they're finally doing
Moon
like
Knight-
more odd stuff.
Guardians.
He's such
too.
a minor character though. Like no one bought his comics. I remember I went to a comic shop in Ithaca, and there's literally this whole like bucket, like big or not bucket. It was one of those big cardboard things where you can pull out single issues, and they were selling them for like $1 because no one read Moon Knight, and to see him get a show, I think it just shows, I guess, not. Well, one, how mainstream comics are, how even the most minor characters are getting their own big budget shows. But also, I think just how well known these lesser known characters are becoming.
Yeah, well, I mean that roots all the way back to like the Guardians of the Galaxy movie in
Yeah, right.
2014
They were
or
also
wherever it
pretty
came out.
unknown.
They were
Yeah.
unknown.
Oh, nobody knew them. Like, have you ever looked at a Guardians of the Galaxy comic?
Nope.
No, I would
They're
even,
ridiculous.
I'd even say the most hardcore comic book fans. You know, like let's talk about like some of the more obscure characters like Moon Knight. I feel like more people read Moon Knight than any of the actual like Guardians of the Galaxy or even the actual Defenders. Like I know they have that Netflix show, which is very mixed. But the original Defenders, I think, was like Thor, like the Wasp and Doctor Strange or no Hulk. No,
that sounds weird.
No, I'm sorry, it was weird. So no, Doctor Strange, the Hulk, and Thor. That's who it was. I
Yeah,
think.
I mean, I guess the 3 of those fit together better than the Defenders in the TV show.
Now, we
But-
can also mention that all of the Netflix shows are now on Disney Plus. So everybody's Disney Plus accounts have been reset because before there was no
Yeah, I
TVMA
saw
rated
that.
content, but since all those shows are TVMA, they added them to Disney Plus. it's like the way the parental system works is different now because you can set it to
Yeah.
TVMA content, but that would only block these like 4 Marvel shows.
God, please let them finally put out like more TVMA stuff.
Yeah, but Disney owns Hulu, so they're just gonna put all their TVMA
Stuff
content on
on
Hulu.
there.
Yeah,
That's
they don't
true.
put it on Disney
They got
Plus.
they got to make a 4th season of Daredevil though. I'm biased, but like they gotta.
That's true.
They might. I don't know. Disney doesn't really like
well-
to do that sort of stuff, though.
Look, well, he got reintroduced in No Way Home. They killed Kingpin, but shit happens.
Spoilers.
Shit happens, I guess.
So listen.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry if you haven't watched Hawkeye.
Listen,
it only
listen,
came
listen.
out 5 months ago.
Yeah.
I think I saw what you talked about. So
Have you seen Hawkeye?
I've seen the ending. You know, I don't want to like spoil anything, but like doesn't like
Go ahead. Kingpin gets shot in the face.
no, I know doesn't Echo like shoot him, but it's off screen.
Yeah, but
Yes,
it's like
it's
is,
off screen.
So
is Echo in Daredevil?
yeah, so Echo's actually originally a Daredevil character.
Okay, because I was kind of confused because they acted like she had this like pre-established relationship, and I've
Yeah,
only
with
seen
the-
season 1 of
so-
Daredevil.
So the Kingpin, I think in the comics, so what he does is, I guess, he kind of raises like Echo with this hatred for Daredevil and stuff like that. I want to say almost kind of, no, not the same as Elektra, but he raises her with this, fueled hatred for Daredevil, but then for this crime that the Kingpin committed, right? And then she eventually, finds out the truth and starts fighting alongside Daredevil. But in the comics, I don't know if it's she or someone, but someone shoots Kingpin in the eyes and he just becomes blind. Like, he doesn't die.
True, we never see a
At
body.
some point.
Yeah,
at some
that's
point.
true.
You know, the rule is if there's no. Sometimes even if there's a body, we saw Nick Fury's body.
No,
He's
it's-
fine.
It's
Well,
comic
that
books.
was
They come back
different.
all-
That was
The rule is if you don't see a body, they're not dead.
yeah. I know that's the common
Yeah,
rule.
it's
He might
also
be
comic
dead,
books.
but
It's comic books. Freaking, was it Spider-Man died or whatever, and he came back.
Every character's died and come back. At some
in the
point.
comics,
exactly.
many superheroes
You
have
know-
died.
Seriously. I was going to say, also Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin is just great.
He's a good actor.
No, he's a great actor.
I like seeing him as Kingpin. I
know,
thought he did well.
I would say, I don't know, he's probably up there. I think Kingpin and Daredevil are kind of up there. I mean, they're not obviously as well known, but at least in the books, they're probably up there with like Batman and the Joker in terms of rivalry.
Yeah. Well, in recent years,
I don't know if I go that far.
they've become more popular.
I would think that Spider-Man and like Goblin or
Green Goblin?
Doc Ock would be ahead of them.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that they aren't ahead of them. What I'm saying is it's just up there. Like if we're putting just a bunch of rivalries up at the top of comic books, doesn't matter what order they'd be up there.
Yeah,
Okay, that's
yeah,
fair.
I'd agree.
You really have to-
That is true. A lot
I
of
don't
people,
think they'd
a
make
lot
the.
of people
I
are
don't think
aware
they'd make
of
top
Daredevil
10,
and
but I think
Kingpin.
they'd be up there.
No,
I mean,
they'd make top 5.
well,
They
well,
make
yeah,
top
No,
well,
I don't think so.
well,
I can name
okay,
5.
you're-
I can probably name 5 right now that are more.
Let's not
iconic.
do it. Let's not do a top 5 list.
Well, so-
you want to? All right. Let's hear it.
Superman, Lex Luthor, Batman, Joker, Spider-Man, Green Goblin. Who else we got?
Where's your top 5, buddy?
Captain America, Red Skull.
No, don't
That's
you
a good
do
one,
that.
but that's not
Don't you
fair.
do that.
So-
90% of the Captain American
Okay.
stuff is present day.
Here.
That's true. No, that'd be
Iron.
most of Iron Man stuff because Iron Man was a C-tier hero before he got his own movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
No, most of the Marvel heroes don't have like an iconic supervillain. So Daredevil and Kingpin, I could see being top
So,
5
well,
because
Top
they're
5 seems high to me.
because it is a consistent rivalry.
Well, you have to think about it. So,
Because, like, think about it. Most of the Marvel heroes are like the Avengers, and they just kind of all work together to fight one bad guy.
right.
Like, Daredevil's actually, like, he's like...
he beats up like
See, he's like Superman and Batman on that level because he's like a vigilante. Like, it's him by himself, and there's usually a guy that opposes him, like, that's basically an equal.
All right,
Greater
I'll
than or
concede.
equal.
I'll
Well,
concede
so-
top 10.
So the thing about Daredevil too.
Where? Name the top 5 then. You got 3 and then you
Here.
then you run
Let
out.
him speak.
Well. Listen. I was about to say the whole thing with Daredevil 2 and the Kingpin is the Kingpin is kind of built like this. He's like this entrepreneur. He's this rich, wealthy dude, and he has control over the city. And on the surface, he's like Wilson Fisk. He donates to charity. He does all this good stuff, but he pulls all of the dark strings underneath, right? And Daredevil is like this representation of justice. Yet because Matt is such like a broken character, you know. His mom was a nun but had a baby and just took off. His dad was like an alcoholic and beat the crap out of him. Like he should have been a villain, but somehow like he finds a way to redeem himself, and I think that's what's the interesting arc or dynamic between he and the Kingpin is that the Kingpin he represents this kind of this he puts on a face of like a good Samaritan, but really he's not. While Daredevil, he dresses like the devil, but he always tries to do good.
You know, you've just pointed out a very interesting motif about Daredevil. See, you're the expert, so I probably wouldn't have noticed. Now that I think about it a little more, it makes sense that he is a representation of justice because he's a lawyer.
Well,
I also think it's interesting because that brings out the motif that justice is blind.
Justice is exactly
That's something that I never thought
That is
about.
cool.
I always just kind of thought of him as just like the blind superhero, and like it's cool that they would that they would introduce that. Well, he's an old superhero, but I don't know. It's interesting because most superheroes are just like
they're cool, but
they're just like a dude with a cool suit.
I do have a question though. Is he called Wilson Fisk in the comics? 'Cause I never heard that name before the show.
yeah. So no. He's called Wilson Fisk in the comics. It's actually interesting. So when he originally appeared in Spider-Man, he was ironically kind of like the Joker originally, where he was a throwaway villain. Like, oh, we got to pump out an issue of Spider-Man. Oh, we're gonna have this crime boss called the Kingpin. It wasn't until they Frank Miller took over Daredevil. He was just like, he was talking to one of the, I think, editors of Marvel. He's like, I want the Kingpin. He's like, what? And he's like, what the hell? Like, he's like this throwaway villain. And in like 3 issues in this arc called Gang War, Frank Miller like completely transformed him from this, like at best, like C-tier villain to like one of Marvel's best and most well-written villains. Gave him a whole identity and everything. So it was.
That's true. I would argue that before really the MCU, Kingpin was probably the most prominent Marvel villain next to like Galactus. Like I'm not even sure that Thanos was as well known as.
I wouldn't say that.
I'm not
I
even
don't
sure.
know.
I wouldn't say that.
Why?
There was some pretty prominent because I would say like Magneto is more prominent.
Yeah,
Mhm,
yeah,
I
that's
agree with
true.
you. I agree with you.
Yeah, Galactus,
Magneto, Galactus, but like I feel like Kingpin,
Thanos, and then any Spider-Man villain.
Here's the thing, though. I feel like I really didn't know very much about Thanos until the MCU started, and they started like hinting at him and then introducing him in ways other than Infinity War, like as a overarching villain. Like I don't know. I feel like Kingpin always was like a very he was a known one, and he was known as like the bad guy, not like Thanos, where like I feel like some people you'd mention him, and they'd be like, "Who's that?"
Thanos to me,
Because Thanos also appeared in not Thanos. Kingpin also appeared in Into the Spider-Verse, didn't he?
Yeah,
To be fair, I think that's the best on-screen adaptation of Kingpin is the Spider-Verse one.
Spider-Verse.
I think it's the best
That's
one.
like one of the best Marvel movies.
I think it's better than
it's not
every
even a
MCU
Marvel
movie by a
Studios
wide
one.
margin.
Yeah, I know.
I'd argue Into the Spider-Verse is better than every MCU
agree.
movie by a wide margin.
I agree by
Yeah,
1,000%.
I would agree with that.
The only
You know?
the only other like Marvel movie I think that comes close is Logan and nothing else.
Logan's a great movie.
I think Logan and
Wolverine.
Into the Spider-Verse are the only 2 S-tier Marvel movies. Only 2.
So I feel
Yeah.
bad because characters like the Punisher and Wolverine, you can even say Daredevil a little bit, and even like Elektra and stuff, because they're in a
Wolverine,
more-
Magneto, that's more iconic.
That okay?
No,
Yeah,
no,
that's
I
true.
agree. So no.
But the whole X-Men fight.
The whole X-Men. It's weird because I like to go on teams. So if I had to rank it, I'd probably put Batman and Joker at the top.
Then Superman,
Lex Luthor
Luthor.
and Superman.
Yeah.
Then I'd probably
Spider-Man.
Then I put Daredevil and Kingpin.
It can't be third.
Then Spider-Man and
Spider-Man's
got
got to be ahead of Kingpin. I think
Okay,
Daredevil.
here's-
Spider-Man's
here's my-
got to be.
Then I think after that, I would honestly probably put. It's weird because I can't really do one. I might want to say like Wolverine and Sabretooth.
Yeah,
But-
yeah. Those
That's
ones
fair.
are
I-
actually good, and they're actually.
It's just
equal.
Magneto's way more iconic than
Well,
Sabretooth.
I was about to say I would argue I could switch if we're talking about rivalries like in general. I'm willing to put Daredevil and Kingpin below that if it's the entire X-Men versus Magneto. Because come on.
Hold on. This brings up something. This just unlocked like a core memory from me that I'd like to bring up.
Yeah, you got it.
What I would say the best Marvel movie is, like Marvel branded,
Okay.
ever done. Have you guys seen Hulk versus
Oh my
Hulk
gosh.
versus Wolverine is like probably
I
No,
have
I-
seen that. I've
I-
seen
I've
both.
seen
Hulk
parts of
versus
it.
Wolverine, Hulk versus Iron Man.
Hulk versus Wolverine's way better.
That I don't know why they haven't done it, but they should make
That
an
is a good
animated
movie.
about. I know they're owned by Disney now, but they should do Wolverine versus Deadpool.
Yeah, I don't know why they haven't. It's
Seriously.
because
because Hugh
Deadpool has
Jackman
like.
retired
Yeah,
before,
Hugh
before
Jackman
they got
retired.
the
I'm
rights.
saying an animated one because come on, that would be
That's
so much
true.
more.
You could pull off an animated one.
So many people would watch it.
I
You
would.
know?
I like Deadpool as a character. I'm not really a huge fan of his movies though. the Marvel movies.
I haven't read a lot of Deadpool, but there's really two ways that they do them. They either do or trying to sell a lot of copies, and Deadpool's very recognizable, and he can be funny, but he also has katanas and stuff, so we're gonna stick him in. Or like or there's like where he's actually put, well written, and he's like swearing and crap.
Yeah. I guess the one problem I have with the actual like the Deadpool movies is that like it's like I understand that he's the merc with a mouth, and I've always liked Deadpool, but like I also remember I've read like a couple of his comics and they're better, like because this Deadpool is just like it's like there is no fourth wall, like it is constantly broken, like it's like half of the time he's talking directly to you, and it's never ever serious even a little bit, like even the action like it's like a joke.
I have an unpopular opinion. Deadpool movies, both of them, they're both mid.
Yeah, they're mid.
They're mid.
Like they're entertaining, but like I could not watch them like within like the same week.
I think the first one's great. The first one I
actually
think
I think the first one's good. I don't think
it's
great.
I think it's a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, it's mid. It's not bad. It's not my favorite.
I think
there was just so much hype for it for like 10 years because it was like, it's never gonna get made.
Finally they're making.
And then it did, and that was really cool. But I think people overhype it.
I mean,
it can't be as bad for Ryan Reynolds as Green
overhype it.
Lantern.
I personally thought, like, yes, okay, the second one, like, I see why they're making. I never saw the second one. I see why they're making it, but it's like at the same time, you got Deadpool 1, and it's already. I thought it was already a great movie. I liked the fight sequences. I thought all the jokes were funny, and I think it was very well shot and like.
You think all
directed.
the jokes were funny?
You think every
single.
Well, that was
one
the problem
of
because I watched this movie. I went into it thinking it was like, it'd be funny, and then I didn't really laugh that much.
Yeah, there were a few times. Like honestly, the only thing that like really makes me laugh is when, at the beginning, he goes back when he's living with like the old lady with all the guns.
Yeah.
And he's got like the tiny baby hand and the Crocs, and he's like, I can't wait to touch myself with this later. It was like it was funny, but like
and I like
that was the only joke
I enjoyed
that
the
I
end credit
really...
scene where he's Ferris Bueller too. I also enjoyed
That's
that.
true. Well, that was funny, but you can't judge a Marvel movie on the end credit scene.
Well,
yes, you can. You absolutely can.
I was about to say with Deadpool. For me, that's the thing. I didn't go in with the hype. I went in with like, oh, this dude has guns and katanas, but I'm just gonna watch a movie. Like I only knew he had like a healing factor and stuff like that. And he made like slaps. I really only knew from what I saw from the video game playthrough.
Oh god,
that's a good video game.
The Deadpool video game.
Yeah, does anyone remember that?
I remember watching gameplay.
I watched Jacksepticeye play through that whole game like twice.
Yeah, me too. I watched his playthrough, and it's funny because everyone remembers. They remember stuff like the Arkham games and Injustice and Spider-Man.
Well, hold on, because you are first and foremost a DC fan. You would remember the Arkham games better than the Deadpool game.
Listen, well,
I concur though. I think DC's better.
Yeah, they have way better. They definitely have better games.
Like
they have better games for sure.
I would say if we're talking like the movies, like overall, DC has more bad movies, but they're like
good movies.
Their good movies are way better.
Movies are way better.
Like,
you know what? I would really like to talk about a good DC movie now that we're getting into about the halfway mark.
Right. Well, let him finish his point about.
Oh yeah, finish your point first. Actually, finish your point.
Well, I was like kind of what I was gonna say is with the DC movies. I think, shit, I completely forgot my train of thought.
You were talking about Deadpool. You were talking about Deadpool.
You were talking about the games.
You're talking about how you didn't. You're talking about how you didn't feel the hype.
Or no. Well, I didn't let the hype get to me.
Well,
with the game, it was weird because I was saying, there's all these big like superhero games, but like Deadpool is really kind of. And there's also X-Men Origins Wolverine, but that was like really kind of the first. It kind of broke a little bit for me, like a superhero game that kind of broke into the mainstream. I know it came out after Arkham Asylum did, maybe even Arkham City.
Are we talking movies or video games or mainstream?
Games.
Just games.
Yeah, games never really fell in the same mainstream as like superhero movies because games are also much more limited to like mostly our generation.
Hey, I think we're forgetting a big one here, boys.
What's the big one?
The original Lego Batman.
Oh
that
my
is a
God.
How could we forget that game?
That
right there is a classic.
Just wrong. Everything I just said is just wrong.
Come on.
Delete that.
It's the best superhero movie.
No.
Am I wrong or
no? Listen,
superhero movie, superhero game. It's the best one. It's got all of them. It's got Batman. It's got Robin, and it's got Batgirl and Nightwing. It's got all four of the DC heroes.
Lego Batman 2.
That is arguably better.
It's
got the open world.
It's based on nostalgia.
to be fair, I've played through that entire game multiple times, and I love Lego Batman too. I would argue, yeah, it's better, but the classic Lego Batman on the
that's true.
DS, on the DS.
Something does no the Wii version.
The
Something
Wii
just
version,
hits
the
different.
Wii
on
I
it.
didn't have a Wii, but I had
Listen,
the DS.
if you-
I'm so sorry for you, dude.
It-
The original Wii version, like playing through the villain levels, made it so much better. Come on, now Jack. I know you'll remember this because we played this level at your house.
Yeah, we did.
The last 2 levels where you play as Riddler and Two-Face as
yeah.
the villain story, they're like literally my favorite 2 levels in the game.
I cannot tell you when I beat that game, and I saw I think it was that lever or something, like in the back cave, and I was like, "What's this?" And then I pulled it,
Yeah.
and I was in Arkham Asylum.
You get like
I
a
was
whole nother.
I
You
was
get like a whole
what
nother
the
game.
heck? Wait, what is this? And I saw that I had all these villain levels. I was like, no way.
Yeah, congratulations. Here's 18 more levels, and you get to
It's
play as the
great.
villains. I would say they're more fun too because it's not like the Batman levels where it's basically all the time. It's just like Batman and Robin abilities. Like you play as different villains that have different abilities. Like, you know, you don't always have super strength or like Riddler's mind control thing.
In terms of that roster, in let's say a Lego version, who do you think were your favorite characters to play as?
Two-Face.
Two-Face, his guns.
Two-Face is my favorite Batman villain.
Two-Face.
I can't really tell you why. I just think he's awesome, and that game's just cemented it for me as a kid. I always thought he was cool.
It's weird. I have so many favorites. I'd say I'll get this out of the way. I like the Joker a lot, but he's so done. He's so overdone. He's kind of at this point he's like a cheeseburger.
He's past mainstream.
He's past mainstream.
He's beyond that.
Yeah, Joker.
When you make $1 billion in your own movie,
Yeah,
you're
Joker
past
has
mainstream.
reached meta irony
Yeah, I know.
where it's he's not even mainstream anymore because he belongs to the people that aren't mainstream now.
He's just everywhere.
I don't know. Well, I don't know because Joker has become so associated with at least a couple of years ago the We Live in a Society stuff with
Yeah.
Redditors and stuff. It's like he's past the mainstream now and he's back into the underground.
Well, you know that I feel like you're gonna find more Joker fans than Green Lantern or Wonder Woman fans.
Definitely.
You're gonna find
Wonder Woman. I don't know about that.
Okay, the Flash or Green Lantern or
Nobody likes the Flash.
Yeah, but the Flash is
That's
also
not- that's-
extremely
Whose
popular.
whose favorite superhero is the Flash?
I like the Flash
I
a
like the
lot.
Flash.
Is he your
Flash
favorite?
is
I
one
like-
of the
I like
coolest
Flash. He's one
superheroes.
of the
Top
coolest
top
ones.
5 definitely.
Yeah,
Top 5
It's
definitely.
just
my
but
top 10 for sure.
Here's the thing: every time you see the Flash, it's just Flashpoint over and over again. That's
well,
the
No, but
only thing
if
they
you
do
look at
with
the
it.
comics and some of the stuff that we're
We're at the 30-minute mark.
Some
It
of the
doesn't matter.
stuff
Half the
that
people aren't even
Flash
listening.
does in some of the stuff Flash does in the comics is absolutely insane.
That's
He
true.
is
But
top 5 superheroes 100%.
he's not in my top 5.
He is.
Not
he's,
even
he's
a little
in my
bit.
top 10. It's weird. So
Maybe top 10, but that's because
Definitely top
That's
10.
there aren't that many
If he's not top 5, he's number 6.
So listen, yeah, that's a fact.
I don't know. I can't. I don't know.
See?
I can't see Flash making top 5.
So, well, I was gonna say my top 3 have always they've rotated sometimes, but I've had to say my top 3. What's that? Firework? That's interesting. I don't know.
That's the
what that
cops.
Anyway.
I have no idea what that noise is.
Was.
Anyway,
No.
Anyway,
well,
we all just watched a squirrel run by or something. What were we talking about?
all right.
I was just going through my top 3 really quick.
All right, let's hear it.
But I was just gonna say my top 3 heroes probably be, or really characters. I'll probably be Daredevil, then
Yeah.
probably Batman, then probably Red Hood.
Red Hood.
Red Hood is not a hero.
He's
I'm sorry.
anti-hero. No,
That's true.
Listen.
Okay, hold on.
Okay, are we?
Before we
have to
include-
define the
before-
list.
Before we include that into the top 3, anti-heroes are almost always better than the superhero.
Yeah, because they're more flawed.
Yeah.
And
more
Batman's
flawed.
technically anti-hero too. So
Yeah, Batman's not even really a good guy.
Well, because of
you know what? Let's all do top 5.
Why? Oh, yeah,
Let's
because you want
just
Wait,
so we can compare.
Are we
All right.
doing,
Well,
are we
hold
doing
on. You gotta let me. All right.
Are we doing heroes or characters?
Heroes.
Heroes.
No anti-heroes because they break it.
You can
'cause-
do Batman, but Red Hood's too much
no
of a stretch.
because anti-heroes. It's they would all be anti-heroes, because they're better than the hero because they're more human.
I was about to say one of my favorites up there actually too is Deathstroke. He's probably
Yeah.
my number.
I love
one.
Deathstroke, but he's not a
Me
hero.
too, but he's not a hero.
Not a hero.
Just because he's not always the bad guy.
Deathstroke is
doesn't mean he's
100%
the
the
good guy.
villains category.
Eh,
Yeah, I mean, he's a hired
No,
villain, but he's
no,
still a bad guy.
he's
I don't
a
know.
hired guy.
I don't know. I feel like mercenaries don't really quite make it into the villain category because they're
Yeah, but
just they're just doing it for
Well,
money.
Villain in a general sense, he's in the villain
that's
So
category.
I just read I don't say it's a mini series, but a shorter series by Tony S. Daniel about Deathstroke, and the whole like plot of it is that he basically someone tried to kill him, and someone has tried to go after his daughter. I don't know if you guys know the character, the Ravager. She's like the girl that wears like the Deathstroke outfit and stuff. And I forget his son's name. It started off really good, but then and it got super confusing. Oh, Jericho, his son. He kind of, and it's weird. There's this weird relationship he has with this kid. So he's trying to like do everything for them, yet they like completely hate him. You know, and I think it's like, I don't know. I think some people, especially some parents, might find it very relatable to read, but the same time was really good about the read. And part of why I bought it was because there's so much fucking violence.
That's true.
Seriously,
I mean,
there are
violence.
people's heads getting
Things
cut
can
off.
exist solely on the rule of cool. But
Like-
who are your top 5 heroes then?
Okay.
I'm not letting this
All
slide.
right. Well, while we're thinking, I remember like right here from 2015, I bought this Deathstroke series, this comic series in 2015 from the New 52. It was like a group of like 8
Yeah, so
of like
I read.
it was really good. Like
This one?
yeah, it's
Was
this
this the one?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was so
It was
good.
good. That was
Like,
the one I read.
I bought them on like my old iPad Mini, and I read through like all the
Oh my
comic
gosh,
editions.
I think we've all done that where like there's a DC Kids or like the DC
Yeah,
app.
and then I
Lil
also
Gotham.
I bought
Lil
this.
Gotham.
Little Gotham. That's
I,
a classic.
I bought that one. There's this other one where it was like Lex Luthor. It was like something happened with the Justice League. So like Lex Luthor and all the villains had like become the heroes to defeat the Justice League. It was a really interesting comic story. I don't remember the name of it.
I've
though.
heard of it. It's the one with like the anti-Justice League, right? From like a different dimension.
Yeah, something like that. It was really good though.
I think you're talking about the Lego game DC Villains.
Yeah,
That is
DC
that
Villains?
is the plot of it.
All right, so
All right,
listen.
just,
boys.
who has? Do you have your top 5?
I was about.
Yeah, I want
It
to
can
hear
be
it.
Marvel or DC,
Yeah,
or
no,
it
just
can be.
top-
It doesn't even
just
have to be
top
Marvel.
5
It can be
superheroes.
anything. Any
Yeah,
superhero.
yeah, it can be what the hell's that
We'll
guy's
We'll
name?
throw in Invincible.
the purple
Invincible
the
number
purple
1.
something, the Phantom.
Invincible number
Purple
one.
Phantom. Yeah, number.
Phantom.
Oh,
He's
wait,
number
wait.
0.5. He's ahead
Wait,
of number 1.
I
He's 0.5. He's number 0. He's
I
the
know.
best.
It's weird because this other dude's an anti-hero.
Nope.
A lot of them
Okay,
are,
well,
a lot of them are.
You have to pick
anti-heroes.
heroes, not anti-heroes.
Okay, well, Batman's technically an anti-hero, so
No,
he's allowed
no,
on all
no,
this.
no,
No,
Bat-
no.
no,
Batman's a
no.
hero.
He's an
Batman's
an anti-hero.
Batman most
he's just
of the time.
He's a diet anti-hero.
Yeah, he's
So
like an
he's a
anti-hero,
superhero.
but he won't kill the people he doesn't like.
Like,
All right,
Just
let's
because you're
hear
an
it.
anti-hero doesn't mean you
all
kill
right,
people.
so no.
Almost all the anti-heroes
listen,
just kill the bad guys.
We're going this off the fact that Batman's a hero, for one.
Batman obviously counts.
Batman, yeah,
No,
you
Bat-
cannot
Bat- Batman
discount
counts.
Batman.
No, Batman.
All right, you go.
So I'd probably do Daredevil, Batman. I might have to say Wolverine, The Flash, Wonder Woman. That's mine.
Whoa,
all
Yeah,
right.
that's
an
Not
see,
bad,
That's,
not
that's
bad.
an interesting one. I'm very surprised you threw Wonder
I'm-
Woman in at the end there.
What have you not seen Justice League? Like not like the TV show, the kids show.
Oh, Justice League, like the animated series.
The animated
That's
show.
Oh,
She's
so
great.
good.
You're right.
She's
You're right.
great in
I've
that.
seen.
And then
some
Justice
of it.
League
She is a lot
Unlimited,
better
which
in
came
there.
after it. Justice League Unlimited that came after it is
Yeah,
also really good.
That was really good.
They're both like they have really good writing.
Though that's not my actual list of like favorite comic book characters. Mine's actually like a lot different. Daredevil and Batman are on there, but there
Yeah.
are more.
Are you,
But
are you going roughly off of like
I'm going straight off
like
heroes.
TV and movies?
Books, movies, just everything.
Oh, everything. Okay.
Yeah.
I was just curious
I got.
because you cited the classic Justice League TV
I'm gonna
show.
have to look up a.
But like
Oh,
also,
he's got to look at the list.
Well, listen. The other thing is too is like Wonder Woman, dude. Like, okay, if you're back like Silver Age stuff, right? She has her invisible jet, even though she can fly, and her tiara. But then like nowadays, like she has like a freaking sword and shield, and then like you see her like fighting with all these Amazons, killing all these fucking monsters. It's sick.
That's true. I have to disagree with you though. I'm very surprised that Captain Marvel didn't make the top 5.
Yeah, why is
Be
Captain
quiet.
Marvel not number 1?
Yeah, why is Captain?
Shut up.
She's
What
the
is
best.
wrong with you?
Shut up. Shut up. No. But what are your top 5? Right.
Hang on, I've got to really think on this one.
AJ, do you have yours?
I have most. I'm trying to think of a fifth. Number 1 is Batman, obviously. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't not put Batman at number 1, in my opinion. Number 2, it was probably Wolverine. I love Wolverine. He's
Wolverine's
probably my
great.
number 2.
His comics are so they need to, when the game comes out, they need to have it be rated M and super violent. If I find
It
out
has to
that's-
be.
There's a
if-
Wolverine game?
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
a
it's
there's
coming
a
out.
Wolverine game coming out.
I remember. I saw.
to
I'm
PS4
very
or
excited.
5. Actually, no, PS5, just PS5.
It's a PS5 exclusive.
I think so.
Why?
Well, unless like those consoles still can't get bought out, then it's gonna go to PS4 too probably. But you were saying?
I'm just trying to think.
So Batman, Wolverine.
Batman, Wolverine, definitely top 2. I have. After that, it gets fuzzy because I'm like.
Right.
The top 2, I'm very certain on.
That's how I am. But only it's
And
my
then-
top 3 until one
and
of them
then-
didn't count.
That's
Maybe
true.
I like Superman a lot too. He's pretty badass.
I feel bad. Superman gets a lot of crap because he's like, oh, he's super powerful and he's a god. And like,
Yeah, but he's sick.
That's the
he is
cool.
the original
He's cool.
superhero.
Just the only
But-
reason I don't like him is because he's God. Like there's literally nothing
But that's
human about him.
This is the thing. This is why I like DC better. It's the core reason is that their superheroes are overpowered. That I want my superheroes to be superheroes.
All of them. Except,
I get it that
all of them
Marvel
except your number one,
Marvel heroes
Batman,
are
who's just a guy.
well, yeah, but he's the exception to the rule.
well,
That's what makes him great.
I also find,
All of their superheroes are overpowered, except their
Except
most
Batman.
popular
I
one.
also-
Except Batman can kill every Justice League member.
Well, I also find
Yeah,
that
because he's got
DC's
money and he's smart.
I find that DC's comics too, other than like Marvel's, a lot of them are a lot more thought provoking. You know, like The Dark Knight Returns has a lot of political commentary for the time. You know, it came out when like the Cold War and all that, and Vietnam just happened. You know, and it changed Batman from like this comic book character to like the sort of, it was almost like the prototype for what you see in like the Nolan movies and even in books like The Long Halloween and stuff like that. And
Killing
really,
Joke.
The Killing Joke, that was a terrible movie, amazing book. Probably
Yep,
one of
I
my
agree,
favorite,
100%.
if not my favorite Batman story. I'd say, no. Okay, that's a really hard one. But you guys still haven't like finished your.
Well,
favorite superhero.
back to my point is that
Where are you? Are you at 3?
Yeah, the 3. I think Flash is 3. But my other point was that like the Marvel heroes, their whole like. I remember I was talking to my cousin about this. Is that Marvel heroes? They're like all their issues stem from being like regular people. Like they're all like none of them are like gods. They're all just like regular people who get powers, and like their problems stem from the human element. While DC heroes, with the exception of Batman, they all stem from like Superman, Wonder Woman. They're like gods, and that they're trying to deal with that.
I don't know. I think Superman and Wonder Woman, yes, but you have stuff like, I guess so. Like a classic one, The Flash is like he's a very smart character. A lot of people forget that he's like a crime scene analyzer.
He's a CSI.
Yeah, he's a CSI. Like people forget that, but he's a very smart character, but very like kind of like broken character. You know, it's weird. So you like look at Batman. His parents got killed. The Flash's mom got killed, and his dad went to jail for it. However, I think by having at least an authority figure there and an adoptive family, he was able to, better cope, which I think is one of the interesting dynamics between the two characters. If you read Prologue to Doomsday Clock or whatever, with Batman and the Flash. But continue, AJ. I'm sorry, I'm going on a rant or a tangent.
No, see, Flash is I mean, I don't want to say he's underrated because he's definitely not. He's with it, like he has a TV show and a movie. He's definitely not underrated.
He hasn't broken through yet.
Even though I know like the TV show's kind of cringy, but like I still like the first couple seasons.
No, the first couple seasons I think are great.
Yeah.
But then after that, it's just like
The same thing with Arrow. The first 2 seasons of Arrow slap, and then it
They
drops
do.
off.
They do.
It drops
they
off
really
so
do.
hard.
They really do.
And Arrow's not top 5, but I still like Green Arrow.
I really liked Green Arrow. Was probably like my number 5 for a long time.
He was cool, and then they're like, let's ruin it by making it the Arrowverse.
Isn't Green Arrow just Batman's story, but he kills people?
The story is almost identical to
No,
Batman's.
listen. He has the Arrow Cave. Like literally,
It's totally different.
No,
Totally
He has
different.
the Arrow Cave. It's a completely
like,
different thing.
I like the character of Oliver Queen, but why not call it the Quiver? Literally,
That's true.
DC
No,
has-
they made a joke about that in the most recent DC movie.
They have.
Yeah, in the like animated version of Injustice.
Oh yeah.
He goes, he captures Harley Quinn. He's like, oh, welcome to the Arrow Cave. She's like, why don't you just call it the Quiver? He's like, damn it. He's like, that's a better name.
But,
That's true.
so
I guess Green Arrow's a little like goofier than Batman, but
He's goofy, Batman.
So listen. So your top 3 were
Batman,
Batman,
Wolverine, Flash,
I
then
thought
Superman.
Then Superman.
I'll put Superman at 4. I'm starting to lose confidence in the list the more
none of those heroes are Marvel, really. I mean, Wolverine is, but
Marvel.
none of them. You.
I
pick
could
from
maybe
the,
put
from the
Spider-Man at
MCU.
5 because Spider-Man. I mean, the OG Spider-Man movies I loved. To be fair, I never watched the third one, but I love Spider-Man 1 and 2.
After rewatching Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3, that is the only reason Spider-Man makes it into my top 5.
I think I have to put.
because of how
I
much
have
I
to
love
put
those.
Here's the thing. I liked No Way Home. That's the thing. Same thing with Endgame. They're just overhyped because of like.
They are.
like I still think No Way Home is a good movie. I think it's better than Endgame.
Yeah.
It's a good movie, but it's obviously overhyped by the fact that like, oh, all these return. It's not as good as Spider-Man 2. It was never gonna be.
What are did you finish your top 5?
Yeah, that's the top 5 for now. So
right.
just subject to change.
Maybe subject to change.
I can go over my that's the list that I came up with. It's not my real list. My actual one looks a lot different. But
Yeah.
we still haven't heard from you.
Well, I gotta say, like, top 5 overall. Batman and Wolverine. I'm with you with. Those are like, I don't know. Batman is like has the best quality of media. Like
does.
as like
That's
across the board, he tends to have like the most reliably good stuff, and he's like he's cool.
Like he has the best stories, games,
Yeah.
movies, books.
Yeah. Same thing with Wolverine. Wolverine's cool. Like, I don't know.
I just love to see him.
Hulk versus and the X-Men movies and the Wolverine and Logan all came together to make Wolverine number 2. I'm kind of in the same boat as you, where it gets a little fuzzy past there. Number 3. Number 3.
I changed my mind. Spider-Man's 4 because of Into the Spider-Verse. He goes ahead of Superman.
Yeah, I don't know how Superman made number 4.
I like Superman.
Wait, listen though. It's Miles Morales. It's not Peter Parker.
There's both in it.
No, but listen, it's
They're
different.
both in it.
Okay.
Spider-Man as the character.
But yeah,
He's
Spider.
still in
yeah,
it.
hold on, because
He's
we're
still
talking,
in the movie.
Yeah, hold on. Why did you
different.
start splitting hairs when it came to Batman? When
Yeah,
it
there's
came
a
to
million
Spider-Man, what about
Batmans.
Batman?
What do you mean?
Is your
a
favorite
million.
Batman,
No.
the Batman from The Dark Knight, or is it Batman Beyond Batman?
No.
Which one's your
The
favorite,
people-
Jack?
the
Because they're
people-
all very different.
No, listen. No, but the actual character of Peter Parker and Miles Morales are two different characters in the comics.
He's still in the movie.
Okay.
He still
you're-
plays
okay,
a large role
Okay,
in the movie.
we'll just say as
okay.
referring to Spider-Man, you are commonly referring to Peter Parker Spider-Man.
Yeah, and he's still number
No,
4.
no,
He's
I-
still in the movie.
I
Yeah.
totally get Spider-Man though, but
So I think Spider-Man's fantastic. I don't know. I don't know. I really like Iron Man from the movies he's in, but I think
the one movie. I don't
the
really
one
like
movie.
the others.
The one movie is so good though.
Iron Man 1's
I
fantastic.
think the one Iron Man movie that's really good is enough to make him number 4. I'd have to put Spider-Man ahead of him at number 3. And I decided I'd pick a
Number
wild,
5
a wild,
is the Flash.
Yeah, no, I decided I'd pick a wild card for number 5 because I remember him. I think it was the original Justice League cartoon. Ever since I was a kid, I really liked Blue Beetle.
yeah, Blue Beetle.
I don't know why.
cool.
I've
He's slept on.
always liked
slept
I've
on.
always liked Blue Beetle, and he's like completely slept on.
I like Blue Beetle.
I
Another
gotta
one,
give- I gotta
Martian
give him-
Manhunter is also
Martian
really cool.
Manhunter's cool, but I like Blue Beetle better. I don't know. I like his like appearance and armor, and I don't know. He's always been like cool and like just kind of like a funny character.
for sure.
He's my favorite character in Injustice, hands down. I
He-
love playing Blue
He's
Beetle.
so slept on. They should make
yeah,
like
they sleep on him.
They're making a Blue Beetle movie.
They
They
have
are?
a sh-
Yeah.
they have a show on DC streaming.
No, they're
service.
making a Blue Beetle. No, but that's not. That's,
Yeah, it's
that's
just
not Blue
it's
Beetle.
just awful. It is. It's Blue Beetle.
Now, fellas, can I go over my actual like top 5, including
All right,
anti-heroes?
let's hear. Yeah, okay. Let's hear it with the anti-heroes.
So, Daredevil and Batman still, but then after that, I'd probably have to put Red Hood, Spawn, and then Deathstroke.
Yeah, yeah. If we're including anti-heroes, Red Hood is
Okay,
Red Hood is
let's-
my number.
If we're
3.
doing a villains list,
Red
then
Hood is
Death-
number 3, and Blue Beetle doesn't make the list.
No,
Deathstroke.
but listen, do you guys know who Spawn is?
Yes,
I know
I'm
who
familiar
Spawn
with
is.
Spawn. He's pretty
So
cool.
Yes, he's
Todd
in Mortal
McFarlane's
Kombat.
A great artist.
He's in
they
Mortal
did him really
Kombat.
well in that.
Yeah, he is in Mortal Kombat. You're right.
He does.
That-
I mean, he's like, so is Joker. But
That is a that is
Oh,
a
yeah.
slept on character right there. Spawn.
Spawn is
Spawn's
slept on.
cool.
He-
He-
you
The
know,
Spawn movie's on Netflix, and it's under
I
horror
don't know
movies.
too much about Spawn, but he looks cool.
Spawn.
Yeah, he's cool.
That's all you
I
need to
think,
know.
I think the rule of cool is enough to exist on.
Yeah, that's true.
So, like, here's the thing about Spawn. He wanted to see his wife. Like, again, he went to hell. Like, he wanted to see his wife again. This is his only plea. So, Malbolgia, or basically, like, one of the guys next to Satan, was like, okay, you can see your life again. Only you're going to be a hell spawn and be the leader in Satan's army when he tries to take over the world. So, yeah, and all he does basically is kill criminals and demons with machine guns and magic powers. He's literally... Todd Fallon has
Dude,
made...
that's so cool.
And the thing is, the series has just kept going. There's been, like, last time I saw it, there's like 300 and something issues.
Hold on. Is Spawn really an anti-hero?
Yeah.
How?
He merged
Kills
demons.
That's.
But he's-
wouldn't
what
you argue that's what a hero does?
What about that is bad?
Yeah.
Well, he's also like an assassin. And he'll kill good people too,
Why?
for the greater good. You know.
So it's still not really a bad guy.
No,
If it's if he's doing something in the name of the greater good, then he's not really a bad guy. Just
But-
like at the end of I'm
then,
gonna
like,
I'm gonna compare that. What about the end of The Dark Knight, where Batman kills Two-Face?
He doesn't kill Two-Face.
He lets him die, like Ra's al Ghul. You wouldn't kill me. I'm not gonna save you. Then he flies away. No, remember, because he like basically covers it up and takes the fall for it because he's like they can't see him like this.
Well, it's different.
Even though Two-Face is the bad guy, he's doing that for the greater
Well,
good.
listen, he takes the fall. The difference is with it's like saying the Punisher's a hero.
Punisher is a hero.
That man.
Oh, he is not.
That man
Yes, he is.
literally
He's an
does-
anti-hero.
He kills bad guys.
He kills
He
lots of
kills
people.
A lot of people.
He kills
He
everyone.
Listen, he kills lots of he's okay. I'm not going to talk too much about the Punisher because he's a respected character by both
He's a
Well,
little, it's a little controversial.
no,
Yeah, he's political now.
No,
Yeah, I hate that they politicized Punisher.
Well, listen, he is a political character, but he's respected by like law enforcement and like the military.
Yeah, he's politicized.
You know.
What do you mean?
So I'm not. Well, what I was gonna say is in a lot of his comics, he kills people who get in his way. It doesn't matter if it's other
Yeah,
criminals.
he kills
or,
a ton of cops.
Yeah, like he kills.
He's mission oriented, we'll call it. He's not a bad guy.
He's a mercenary.
You know,
he's
fun
mission-
fact.
He's money oriented.
Is he a mercenary? I don't think
listen-
he's a mercenary. I'm
No, he's not
pretty.
mercenary.
I'm pretty sure he's
So,
internally
A
driven.
fun fact about the Punisher is that in the comics, or really in the Marvel Universe, what he does is in Punisher versus Punisher kills the Marvel Universe. He literally kills everyone, even Wolverine, which is a freaking
How? That's a W.
Doesn't he
I
have
don't
any
know.
powers?
No, he just has guns.
No,
That's his power.
no, he's just really good at shooting.
That's pretty funny.
So what? The only
Wolverine, I got healing ability. I got guns.
I've got to find that one. That's got to be like the best comic
Well,
ever.
the
Just
only-
a guy with guns kills every Marvel hero.
Seriously. So the only person he doesn't kill, or I don't think he kills, or he has a hard time, the only one he has respect for is Captain America.
Another soldier.
Another soldier. He won't kill him. You know, I forget how he actually like ends up dying or gets killed, but from what
He pushes him off the cliff. The fall killed him.
Yeah. No, he's like I'm not gonna kill you. Hold this grenade for me.
So what kind of makes it's funny because what actually makes the Punisher snap in that book, I think I'm not sure. I haven't read the book, and this could be completely wrong. But what makes him snap is I think he's tricked in some of the heroes by killing Spider-Man and like Daredevil and I think Iron Man, and he like completely loses it because he has close attachments to like Peter and Matt and Tony. So I think especially Tony because Tony Stark went through like alcoholism. That's another thing I will say about Marvel. Some of the heroes like Storm, she suffers from anxiety. Like her whole heart is literally anxiety.
Yeah.
Well, it leads back to
Hey,
my point.
and Iron Man was an alcoholic.
They
couldn't have picked a
suffer
better
from
cast.
very human issues, while the DC heroes rarely do. At least like the mainstream, like
Well,
you're
Justice
thinking,
League.
thinking of the big.
Hold on. To be fair, Batman is the only one that's like really a human.
No,
Batman
I know,
and
but that's my
Flash.
point. With the
All the
exception
rest
of
of them
Batman,
are
if we're
not.
taking like the standard Avengers characters and the standard Justice League characters, most of them don't suffer through like.
Well, it's also because they've always they're very like you have to keep in mind Marvel's a lot more fleshed out. I would say like Batman, Green Arrow, the Flash, Green Lantern, they all suffer from real hero problems. You have to keep in mind too, like Superman, he's a god, right? But the whole idea of Superman is anyone can be a hero. You know, think about it. When Superman was created, it was back in 1930s, 1940s.
Long time ago.
You know,
was the
lots of 30s, yeah. Lots of new people are coming from America, especially the war. You know, you saw in issues of comics, he'd punch Red Skull and punch Hitler, and it was cool and stuff. But he is this person that comes
when
from
he was an alien.
yeah, he comes from a foreign planet, and he comes here and he does great things. He's an American, and it sort of embodies that anyone can be American. You can come from wherever, but you come here, you can be a great American. You can be a great person. That was the original concept
That's
of
true.
Superman.
Well,
But yeah.
Originally, it wasn't Superman red, white, and blue.
1938.
It wasn't yellow.
So yellow.
They used yellow
So-
as the white.
Yeah,
'Cause, like,
Action-
the paper was yellow.
Action Comics #1, 1938 was when Superman debuted.
1938. Yeah, I was about to say 1930s. Batman came after that, right?
Batman was #2, I think.
He was after that.
He was like the second hero they made.
Guys, I'm all right with doing a longer episode. Can we talk about Batman?
The Batman?
Can we
Well,
talk
to be
about
fair-
can we talk about the Batman?
Oh yeah, no, we gotta talk
Yeah,
about that.
we should talk about that before we wrap.
I think so. I think it's important because of how much I enjoyed it.
That's
It was worth every minute that I watched it for. What do you guys think?
It's so we talked about this.
We
you
did.
think you can you just go over what you
All
think
right,
again?
sure. Yeah, I'll make
Yeah.
my controversial statement. I like it. I would say it is like 0.1 below The Dark Knight for me. Not the whole Dark Knight trilogy. I like it better than Batman Begins and The Dark Knight Rises.
Continue.
But I don't like it quite as much as The Dark Knight, but it is a very close second for me.
This is something I've heard a lot. Like a lot of people, this has been like I don't want to call this the general consensus, but I've heard a lot of people say this, is that The Dark Knight is a better movie.
Yeah.
The Batman's a better Batman movie.
Yeah, it's better representation of Batman because for the first time ever, Batman is flawed like he should be.
This is a more comic accurate Batman.
Yeah,
than The Dark
Batman is
Knight.
not perfect. He does a lot of detective work, which I like because he never does that in the movies. He never goes looking. He never goes looking for who it is, and also, I'm excited for the trilogy because I feel like there's going to be a lot of growth. Because like the beginning of this
they haven't
movie,
announced any other movies.
No, I know that, but
from what I hear,
it's going to be a trilogy. But
That's the rumor.
But what I really like is that the whole point of this movie, at least, is like it's him going around and it's like I'm vengeance. And then at the end, he realizes that that's not the point of the Batman. Yeah. Like, he's not supposed to be out there trying to get revenge because he can't undo his parents getting killed. Mm-hmm. So, like, he goes from just being this guy that's basically, like, taking out his anger on criminals to somebody that's just trying to help people. So, which I really like. Like, I don't know, it's an admirable Batman, I think.
So, like, this is a concept that I think a lot of people Gotham mean some of Batman's, not pertaining just to the Batman, but the whole, like, universe of Batman. This has been something else that, so, like, I think why Jason Todd struggled a lot with his vengeance or his hate against Bruce was he thought Batman was about punishing the guilty, not protecting the innocent. And I think over the course of this movie and at the end, and I think it's really well done, that this Batman realizes I'm not out here to punish and scare criminals so they keep the innocent safe. I'm about protecting the innocent, you know? It's just as important as Batman to stop that mugging and strike fear in that criminal's hearts as it's to lift up this debris and pull these people out of this sunken city.
Yeah. By the way, just I want to say the music, that is my favorite music in a Batman movie. I watched The Dark Knight right after I saw it in the theater, and I like the music better. Like, just the Batman theme, especially. I don't remember when it is, but the part when they played on the electric guitar, it's phenomenal.
The electric guitar part was good. I don't know. For me, it could just be a matter of preference. I feel like the Batman, for me, like, it was, like, cool, especially when, you know, out of the car and stuff, and it was on fire, and you saw him walking toward, that was cool.
That was, like, one of the coolest scenes in the movie.
I will listen to the music, everything from the big, like, na, na, you know, like, the Nolan one.
Yeah.
To, like, there's, like, that action music, like, when Batman and Catwoman, we're gonna talk about Catwoman in a second.
Yeah,
she was so much better in this movie than in Dark Knight.
Oh,
Rises.
this is definitely
this movie is definitely better than The Dark Knight Rises.
No,
that movie was not good.
No, listen, on the scale like strictly Catwoman, she's so much better in this movie. I absolutely loved Zoe Kravitz's Catwoman. I think it was great.
Yeah, I think she did.
Wait,
really
I
good.
want to touch on your point again, where you're talking about his like transition and like because the very first scene of the movie is him saying how he wants every criminal to basically fear for their life the moment they look up.
Basically, the whole point is just that they're afraid of him.
They look up and see a signal. They know, like, he wants them to feel fear. And then at the end is, I think, a really powerful scene is when he's, like, standing on the rooftop and he's, like, helping people. And then he just looks up at the helicopter.
Yeah, and he's the one looking up because... Well, also, okay, so if we're going to talk about that, I think that relates a lot to the imagery of the movie, which I thought was very important. Just the way it's shot, like the upside down scene where you see Batman, like that. I don't know. It's a really good scene to represent, like, you know, the Penguin lost because you're hanging upside down and you see Batman coming towards you. My favorite shot though in the movie is when he goes to start pulling people out of the wreckage in the end. At first, everyone's kind of hesitant, and then it's the mayor's son that's the first one, the one that he shared the long glance with at the beginning. Yeah. And then he lights the flare, and people like a moth to a flame. That is the best shot in the movie. They all start to follow him because like
that's the thing. I as a cinematographer, like it's my like I love cool shots. That was my favorite. I love that shot.
It was such a cool shot.
I love lighting like that where it's all the lights coming from that flare.
Yeah,
and you can just see everyone up. I love that shot.
It's so well lit, and like you can't even really make out Batman, but it's also really good in like the motif that I feel like that's the moment where Batman changes because he makes that conscious decision to jump up there and cut the wire instead of letting all those people die. Which he could have died in that scene.
Well,
I knew he wasn't going to die, but he could have.
I've heard this is controversial.
And that's what's important.
I want to get
and that's I think where he changes from being I'm vengeance to being the light and darkness, basically.
I want to get your opinions on this because this is controversial. In the car chase scene, people have pointed out that Batman lets a lot of people die in that scene without any
or get
remorse.
hurt, doesn't care.
Yeah, and that I've heard a lot of people saying that was like the one scene where they're like, well, that just seems out of character for him because he's basically saying, I'm going to chase down the Penguin regardless of the cost. To be fair, we've seen the Dark Knight Batman also do some things like blows up a lot of stuff.
I heard about that, and I paid very close attention the second time I watched it, and I don't fully see the controversy because I can understand it because the whole point of this one is that it's a young Batman and he's not in that moment he's not fighting for the good of others. Like he's out to get the bad guy, not trying to protect everybody. And I think it's like think about it, the way he like sits there and revs up his car, basically trying to like go to Penguin into a chase. It's like tunnel vision, and I think it's not intentional. And then all at once, Penguin slams on the brakes and he kills all those people. Like, Batman didn't do it intentionally. Like, unintentionally, it did happen, but it also wasn't like, Batman wasn't like, it was tunnel vision. He was driven by catching the Penguin because he wanted to find out who the Riddler was.
Yeah.
It was not like trying to protect the other people. So I can understand it, but I also think it's good because Batman will grow from there. Like, because now he'll start to value the lives of the people he's protecting and like getting the damage away from the innocents.
That's fair.
Why? What about you, Jack? What do you think
About
that car chase scene?
About that car chase scene, well, I do think you see all these explosions and like all this stuff going off, and it's focused a lot on the Penguin's face, and I think it's focused a lot on Batman's. Correct? I've only saw it the one time, but from what I remember, it was really focused on them. And it kind of just was locked. Now I would say locked on these two cars, but you kind of saw these two cars, and there's a bunch of debris. And I think I agree with you. There's other little undertones of it too. So like when he goes into the club,
yeah,
he's concentrated on the guys. He gets shot and he's worried, but these people, he has more care for. I think you'll notice if you've seen other Batman media, there'll always be like a mid-fight scene. There'll be some innocent, and he'll like push them out of the way, and he'll like take the blow for them. This one doesn't.
Yeah, well, he was like basically just letting these guys shoot off their guns in a packed club. Like, I don't know. And not that it's gonna happen.
Well,
again
they were gonna do that
movie.
anyway. They're security guards.
No, I know.
They're mob security.
Yeah, exactly. So of course they're gonna shoot them.
No, that's true. But like, it's because Batman didn't really try to disarm them. It's more that he was just trying to hurt them all as much as possible.
I can forgive all that because he's a young.
You know,
Batman.
I don't know. It wasn't about him like getting the gun out of their hands. It was more about him like beating the fucking shit out of them. You know, like.
Yeah, there's also another scene too where, and I think this is where its growth starts to happen. So Catwoman's gonna go kill Falcone, right?
Yeah.
She's consumed by this vengeance that Batman's also consumed by, right? But he goes to stop her. You know, he goes through and there's this epic scene where it's in this dark hallway. And
that was a cool scene.
Cool. That was a really good scene. But then he goes to stop her. And I think this is where that like light switch flicks, or like he starts to change because he sees from an outsider's point of view what vengeance does to someone. It's not only going to get you killed if you just look at vengeance, but you're not going to accomplish good. Because remember, if she went and killed, she didn't kill Falcone, which was good. But then when he got killed, look at all of the
that was. I think the moment where he gets killed is where it changes for Batman, because also the whole thing about that I really liked is also she's like, I'm gonna go kill Falcone, like, because he deserves it. And Batman isn't like, stop because that's wrong. He's like, stop because we'll never find the Riddler without him.
Exactly.
Like, it's the whole movie is about him finding the Riddler and not helping people, and then you get to the end where it's like, by the way, that ending came completely out of nowhere to me watching it in the theater, where it's like Riddler's in the jail and he's like, oh, well, we would get to watch it from up here where it's safe, and I was like, what the hell's going on? Is this like, I was like, what's this ending? And then you just see like all those vans blow up at the seawall, and it's like, it's a crazy ending.
The other thing I think is really cool is that in the very first scene when he kills him with the carpeting tool.
Yeah.
And then at the very end, Batman has to use the same carpeting tool to fish up the carpet because that's where he has like all his plans laid out.
And that's where it's too late.
It shows that they put a lot of effort in. Like we didn't just give him this random tool.
Yeah.
For no reason. There was a purpose for that.
They picked his murder weapon.
It's also funny that all the Redditors were trying to murder everyone.
I thought that was that was clever.
I think it shows it's especially like today people they join these extreme groups.
Yeah.
You know, just really quickly at the flick of the whim. I think it shows how far and how like that there are people like that.
Yeah.
You know, that,
Well,
They're little echo chambers.
Me and you,
Right.
me and you talked about this actually on the phone the other day. Because you're a big Batman fan. I wanted to hear your
Yes.
take on the movie before we did this. I really love about this movie, not only the humanization of the characters and how real they feel, but also the fact that it's like there's a political commentary, but it's pretend politics. There's nothing that directly correlates with something going on today and a current issue, but it is like something happens and you could relate it to something that has happened. Like it is not directly calling out something or showing it in a negative or positive light. It just shows it to you. And it's like, you know, because like in this movie, the Riddler is politically motivated.
Yes.
But there's nothing that relates to our world. It's all pretend Gotham politics.
It doesn't.
You know, it's still political, but it's not something that is polarizing.
The actual what's going on in the movie, other than that one line, just kind of came out of nowhere, and it kind of no, we don't. You know,
Can we talk about that? The one it drops it down to a 9.8 for me. Where she just drops the white privilege line and then it never gets talked about again. She just like throws it out there. She's like, these white privilege assholes
my only issue is that
deserve it. And then it's just silence.
But the problem with that line is that it is throwaway. Is that they didn't. It's not like they're
doesn't
trying to
add-
make
it's
a
not.
point.
It's not.
It was
doesn't
throwaway.
add-
No, it's not throwaway. They shoehorned it in there. That was so.
Well, I know,
forced.
but that's
there
the
was
thing,
no
like-
reason for it
And
to be there.
there's nothing that was like going to add to the movie. Like there would be a bunch of young people at it that would have either cringed at it or they would have
Yeah.
been like, yeah. And then you'd have a bunch of either older people who are just like, or like they're like two,
Yeah,
like
well,
what the heck?
That's the one thing. Even though a lot of
this
the
coming from?
motivation from like Riddler and stuff is political, that's the only statement in the movie that's like actually politically charged. Because Riddler's all about like how renewal's a lie and stuff, but like that's not a real issue. Like that's not actually something. That's not actually something that really happened.
No, I disagree with that because a lot of like people have like reviewers and journalists have come out and like talked about the movie and said, when I watched that movie, it made me sad because I looked at this Gotham City and it reminded me of New York City and Chicago and Detroit, where I lived. So I would argue that it is related to
That's true. No, it is related to them, but renewal's not a real thing. Like when she brought up white
Like,
privilege, that is
It's not, but it's not much of a stretch to talk about the infrastructure programs.
No,
in the
I
cities.
know that, but it's like when she shoehorns in that white privilege line, it's like it feels forced, and it's actually something that is a current issue, like a hot button issue. And
I'd
that's
argue
and
that
that's
the city
and
stuff's
that's
still current.
it is, but not in the same way. Like
So-
it doesn't have the same political charge behind it because
But that's
more
only
it makes-
because if you don't live in New York City, you don't care.
So listen, boys.
That's true. Oh come on, we live in a city with like the worst infrastructure.
Listen. So here's the thing. So the actual renewal thing that's happening in Gotham City isn't real. However, I think there are political like undertones to where products of reform and renewal are very prevalent in like today's society. Like I think I agree with I think the concept of a renewal or something is something that's played around with and outside in the real world and it's played with a lot today. However, the actual Gotham City renewal of Gotham City, that is completely fictional.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Is that it's a not
The actual-
it's something that can relate to real life and be a relatable issue, but it is not a real issue.
Okay,
it is still something fictional.
I agree with the fact that I think they
That's what I like about it. Is it's a very dark movie, but it's still light in its political undertones. Is that it's not something that is directly pushing like any kind of agenda in any direction.
Okay, well, I'll agree with that. My point is that I agree that like they did it well. They were able to put in political commentary without forcing it down your throat, and actually they did make it relevant. But I would still argue it's not much of a stretch to connect it with stuff
I know,
going on today.
I agree.
But that is the one thing is you do have to make the connection, and if you just take it at face value and just see it as something fictional, you can view it that way.
I agree with that.
That's what I like.
I think
is
they
it's-
did it
is
really
it's
well.
not something that's like actually political, because that was the one thing that does kind of concern me with any kind of movie is I don't want politics in my movies. But this did it correctly, where it's like there are political undertones, but it is not the point of the movie is not that.
I feel like we're like not to compare to Marvel, but like whenever they made it's been a very like not cotton candy, but very general sort of agreeable, or it's like okay, but like it's been very
Surface
prevalent
level.
surface level,
It's hard. It's hard to compare a movie as good as the Batman to anything Marvel because Marvel is basically assembly line movies.
Yeah,
where it's like
unless you're
insert
talking
hero,
about-
insert villain, and then pretty much just the same
unless
thing.
you're talking about
over and over.
exceptions, like I don't know, like some of the animated movies or Iron Man 1 or.
No, well, yeah, Iron Man. Okay, Iron Man 1's phenomenal because Iron Man's human.
Well, listen, let's get
Pretty
back
much
to
everything beyond that, nobody is.
Listen, let's get back to Batman though. Another thing that I really appreciate about the movie is the subtle details. So, the fact that Batman wears eye makeup. You know?
I loved that.
I
thought
love
that was so cool.
The fact that when he's going to a place, he doesn't grapple around the city. He puts his Batman clothes in a backpack. That's Batman clothes, Batsuit.
His
in the
Batman
backpack.
clothes.
The backpack.
Like
Backpack.
the backpack.
No, I like that. He cases around as like just an anonymous guy, and
Yeah.
that is the Batman stealth. He's not like the Christian Bale like ghost Batman. His ghost is blending in with the crowd in New York City, which makes more sense.
It's a lot more. Or,
Like
Gotham.
Batman is a big fucking guy. How is he sneaking
or-
around this?
He's not in New
warehouse?
York City. He's in Gotham.
he's a-
whatever.
yeah.
Gotham's fake New York City.
It's
Gotham is
basically-
Gotham
it's
is
basically-
Gotham is New York City if it was only Manhattan.
It's
Yep.
it's a Detroit of New York City.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
If that
way
makes
worse.
sense.
Let's combine 'em.
No, listen. I also think with, and it's even stuff like we talked on the phone, he had the wingsuit. He didn't have the cape, even though the cape from Nolan. I think that's
no.
I
The
think
cape
that-
turns into the wingsuit, and then once
No,
it's
no.
used, it's gone.
No, it doesn't even turn to the wingsuit. He has to take off. I don't know if you saw it. He has to take off.
Oh,
the
you're
cape,
right.
and
He
has
actually
to
takes
put it
the
on.
cape off.
And he puts on the wingsuit, and it has even a little thing on the back of it, and everything into like his grapple gun. Isn't it like attached to his arm?
Yeah, it's attached to his
And
arm,
it's
and it's
CO2
CO2, and you actually see it release when it shoots.
This is a much more grounded Batman.
yeah, no, that is why it is so close to the Dark Knight for me.
Where-
It's because
Well, I wanna get your opinions on this.
I love the Dark Knight as a superhero movie, but in terms of Batman,
No,
this
no,
is
no,
like the
no.
perfect one.
You just got it wrong. The Dark Knight's not a superhero movie. It is a movie about Bruce Wayne. This is what Christopher Nolan said. He didn't care about Batman. He cared about Bruce Wayne. The trilogy is about Bruce. It's not about Batman. This is the exact opposite.
That's true. Yeah, this is all about the Batman.
And like the Dark Knight is a crime thriller movie. It's not a superhero movie.
I would.
That's true.
So I would argue like the Dark Knight and the Nolan trilogy, I think it's a lot more of a physiological and like psychological piece with a bunch of like action and it's kind of I think it goes over more like it has all these cool moments with like Bruce Wayne and stuff like that. It has a very good story of, especially in the Dark Knight with Harvey Dent and Commissioner Gordon and Batman and how they all are successfully taking on the Joker, but then when one of them falls, it all starts to fall apart. I like that a lot. It's very similar to Long Halloween, but I think that movie as a whole, the actual like themes, I consider that like a film. There are ideas beyond Batman that are pushed in that movie. This I would agree so too, but it's more political rather than in like the Nolan movies where I think it's more of a talking about the perspective. It's like more.
It's more about morals.
It's more about morals. It's talking more about human nature, not as much like this sort of political. What the Batman does, they talk about Gotham. What the Nolan's movies do is they talk about the characters and just people. They have a internal dialogue, I think, about humans.
That's true. However, I would say the characters in this movie are more human than any of the other Batman movies. They actually feel like real people because, like, I don't know, watching the Dark Knight trilogy, Bruce Wayne, it doesn't have any flaws. He's this rich playboy millionaire by day, and then he goes out at night, and he's this invincible ghost ninja guy that just beats the shit out of every villain.
That's not true. So, like in Batman Begins, he's struggling with both of these like identities. He's trying to put on this like rich playboy, Hugh Hefner idea, but then Rachel says to him, he gives him that talk, and it's just like I forget what she says exactly.
Well, he almost kills the guy who killed his parents. So he was gonna go kill him.
He was gonna walk up and go kill him, and he didn't. What he struggled to do is not only find the fine line between that, but to truly become something else in the enemy's eyes while being true to himself.
Yeah, I agree with what Jack was saying.
That's true.
Comparing the Batman and the Dark Knight, and I think this kind of leads into the discussion is that I think the Dark Knight's. I agree with the fact that it's a better movie. It is constructed better, and has more like laid out themes. But I think the Batman's a more comic accurate, more like accurate Batman film, and it is a little long. The Batman, and I really enjoyed every minute.
No,
I'm not complaining about it.
Worthwhile. I'm not going to complain.
The Dark
about
Knight
more
is a
movie.
more concise movie.
That's
more
true.
concise.
However, since you drew the comparison, I'm gonna drop this on you. You compared this to Batman Begins and Batman struggling between the two identities. how is the Bruce Wayne and Batman character not better in this movie then? Because
Bruce Wayne is non-existent in this movie.
I know,
Exactly.
but that's the thing is in this one he actually struggles with it because the few times you see Bruce
No,
Wayne,
I would disagree with that.
no.
I disagree with that. There's no
'cause
struggle.
there is
I wanna
because the
hear
few
AJ.
times you see
Listen.
Bruce Wayne, he looks like shit and he has no social skills.
This is another.
Or
No,
because
I
all
told.
he does
No,
is
no,
fight
no. Let me.
bad guys.
No, let me speak.
No,
I disagree with you because this is one. It's not a complaint I have, but I have heard people complain that he never stops being Batman in this movie. Even when he's Bruce
agree.
Wayne, he's still Batman. He's sulking around. Oh, Bruce Wayne, come and get a picture. He just totally ignores him. Walks right by him, doesn't care. He goes straight to Falcone. He doesn't give, like, if this was Christopher Nolan's Bruce Wayne, he would have been talking to the reporters, had ladies at his arms. No.
Yeah.
This Bruce Wayne, he's wearing a trench coat, doesn't do his hair,
looks
just walks
empty.
straight up to Falcone.
Exactly.
looks
Well,
empty.
exactly.
He never stops being Batman, but that's the
other
point.
thing is,
But
too,
I know, but that's the thing is that's the struggle is because Alfred
It's
tells
not a
him
struggle.
No, because
not a
Alfred
struggle,
tells
it
him
is.
he's like
He's already gone.
He's like you can't live this way. He's like you can't just exist at night.
No,
and-
I know,
and-
exactly.
And he's like I don't care.
He's already completely, fully 100% Batman. The point of the movie is that he's learning that maybe he doesn't need to be that way.
I know. Well, that's the
good.
thing. That's why I'm hoping in a sequel because
agree with you.
there's the hints to it because what's the name?
Well,
the new mayor that gets elected comes up to him at the funeral and she's like, "Hey, your family has a long time history of philanthropy. I'd kind of like to talk to you about that because you've done nothing for the community." So I'm hoping that as this progresses, it goes from the Batman to turning more into Batman and Bruce Wayne.
Or
Because you're right, there's not the same struggle, but also it's a more realistic.
no struggle.
But it's more realistic that way because if you were out at night all the time doing nothing but beating the shit out of your body, how could you be a playboy millionaire with women in your arms during the day?
No, I agree that's
like-
more realistic, but there's no struggle. All right, Jack, what do you say?
So what I was gonna say, so this is an interesting thing. So I'm kind of split between the two because I agree. I don't think there's any struggle between Bruce Wayne and Batman. I think he is Batman 100% of the time, and in some people's eyes, and initially in my eyes, it made him a one-dimensional character. However, when he was the one-dimensional character of Batman, he was amazing. I think, for a record, I think Robert Pattinson did a great job. I don't think, no matter what you say, it was what he was given with, or he was an excellent Batman. I think he did a really good job. There's definitely better Batmans, in my opinion, but on the topic of just Robert Pattinson, I think he did a good job. Now, here's my thing. If this is a standalone movie, I think they did a terrible job of making Batman and Bruce Wayne. They just made Batman. However, if there's going to be like a trilogy and we progressively see Batman emerging as Bruce Wayne, maybe not Bruce Wayne and Batman, but Bruce Wayne.
Well,
then that will be.
What?
Then I think that'll be very good. Hold on, I'm not.
He's not done.
I'm
Okay,
not.
okay.
I'm not finished yet. Something else I also like to point out that's interesting. He's just very quiet. He's like this loner, very anxious and cold person. What I liked the twist that they did with Batman's parents. They've been doing this a lot more recently, which I like. His mom was mentally ill. Like, she was committed. And I don't mean like mentally ill, like, you know, gets anxious, has like anxiety, but like she was locked to Arkham Asylum, and Thomas Wayne went to Falcone for some little help to, you know, and it shows that they're flawed, yet
Yeah.
they're not evil or terrible. So,
well,
and
that's
hold on. I'm finishing
you're
my
right.
thought.
You're right.
So, and you think about mental illness can be transferred through genes, through genetics. So it makes sense to me why Batman or Bruce Wayne is such a flawed character too, because it's been passed down genetically. I mean, I think in almost, except maybe like the Telltale series and in Joker, kind of. I don't know. But you've seen every bit that, like, Batman is an only child. He has great parents who love him very much. And regardless of their wealth, they, you know, they're a very put together family, and then that's all taken from him. But I think recently, especially what this movie does, is that doesn't exist. There's like mom, dad, children, everything's white and peachy. That doesn't exist. There's always something, even if it's someone's a little bit anxious or brother and sister fight a lot. There's no perfect family like that. And I think what this shows with, you know, Martha Wayne having mental illness and them both getting gunned down and killed in front of this already maybe questionable-ish in terms of like a mental state young boy, and how that can morph him into this cold, quiet, very introverted guy.
Yeah, well, and I think that is also why there is what you said, no struggle, is because if there is that mental illness in Batman, that inability to get over it, like not that if you witness that, well, that's the thing, is if you witness that, it's not something that you just get over. Like, that's something that sticks with you. And the whole movie, he doesn't exist as Bruce Wayne because he is so mission oriented. And at the end, that starts to change. He's so focused on just taking it all out on bad guys that Bruce Wayne no longer exists. Like, he's constantly just like, I need to go out and I need to do more. I need to hurt more people and get them off the street. And it changes. And I hope it changes Bruce Wayne as well and starts to bring him out a little more. But also, I think that makes sense as to why when you see Bruce Wayne, it's not really Bruce Wayne, is because he's a shell of a person.
Well, I think it also something that keeps Batman and Bruce Wayne like together, or keeps Bruce Wayne and Bruce Wayne, is that he looks into the abyss, he looks into the darkness, but he always manages to bring himself back. He doesn't blink, you know.
I know where that line's from.
You know,
do you know where that's from? An animated movie.
That's from an animated movie.
Where he's like, you looked into the abyss and you blinked.
Crisis on Infinite Earths. No, but I'm serious.
I love that movie.
That message has been repeated in the animated series and Justice League. Mm-hmm. This one, though, I think is in that darkness. He's in that abyss, and it's not like he went there and like killed. He has been there since he saw his parents get killed. He's been going there when his parents were alive, and he's been living in that for years, since he's done training, since he's done everything.
And by the way, you said Bruce Wayne's not in this movie. I think he begins to emerge towards the end, where when they blow up Alfred, because he...
I agree with that.
Because he goes in and he talks to him, and Alfred is very, like, he's honest with him, and Alfred cries, which... It was a very powerful scene. He's like, Bruce, like, you've always blamed yourself for this, but, like, my job was to protect them. You were just a kid. Like...
Yeah, shout out to Andy Serkis.
It's like there's nothing you could have done to save them, but like my job was to keep them safe. It's like you didn't fail, I did. And those scenes where he's visiting Alfred in the hospital, and it's like they're like, "Is there anyone we can notify, like next of kin?" And he's like, "No, only me." Like, I think that's where Bruce Wayne starts to come out, because he's not Batman in those scenes. Given he's the bat signal comes on, and Alfred actually says to him, he goes, "It looks like they need you." But that's it. Like, I think that is Bruce Wayne.
I think Alfred had some very good character development in this movie.
Me too.
Hey, shout out to Andy Serkis.
He
was great. He didn't have much screen time, but he was great. I want to touch on what you just said. Is that I also agree with what Jack was saying earlier. Is that if they do the next couple movies and we start to see, because I agree, Bruce Wayne starts to emerge at the end a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit. And if they continue this, I think we could have a really strong character in these next couple films. And they're almost certainly going to make more, considering how much money the movie's made. But it's getting kind of late. But I have a question to ask you guys about the film. Have you guys seen the deleted Joker scene?
No, but I know what it is.
I've seen parts of it, and then I had to get back to work.
Yeah. So, well, it's going to be tough to talk about it, but before we end, what are your thoughts on the Joker? Because he is in the film.
I don't really care. I hope he doesn't come back as a villain. I hope they keep him in Arkham.
No, it's not. He's obviously going to be a villain.
I don't think so.
What do you mean? They didn't. They have a whole scene of him. They're 100% going to make him one of the main villains.
Wait. Isn't the whole scene Batman interrogating him though?
It's really. I mean, yeah, but no, he's not interrogating him. No.
Isn't he talking to him at Arkham
He's
Asylum?
asking him about the Riddler case because he wants to get Joker's perspective.
Okay,
it's not interrogation.
Okay, well, whatever.
He's asking for his advice. I think
they can keep Joker in this movie correctly in that role, where Batman goes to him and interacts with him.
They're never going to do that, though. They're 100%. He's going to get out of Arkham, and he's going to have to fight him as the Joker. That's going to happen.
I hope they don't do it, because you cannot top either Joaquin Phoenix or Heath Ledger. Like, so, I don't. You can't top those acts. So don't do it. Like, please don't throw Joker in there.
Well, listen, there's so many good ones. I mean, Mark Hamill.
I disagree with that. Just because he won't be as good doesn't mean they shouldn't include him. He can be just as good for this world.
No, I don't want to see more Joker.
No.
I want to see more villains like the Riddler that take a back seat.
I agree with you. I don't think they're gonna do just Joker, no one else. But I disagree with you that they shouldn't include him because he won't be as good as Heath Ledger. I don't agree with that argument.
I think they shouldn't include him because Joker has been done to death and because he can't follow that act. So if
I don't agree,
they put the Joker in the next movie and he is by far the best Joker that we've ever seen, good. I still am not really going to be happy he's in it because he's in so much Batman. I get that he's his arch nemesis, But I also like that this Batman picks up at a point where it is already established that Joker has lost to Batman.
Yeah, but I don't think
him,
this Joker
but
is
he is
fully
already
Joker
lost.
yet. I think that's the point. This
I
is an
think he
early
is.
stage Joker that he's not fully there yet.
No, I think Joker
I don't
is
think
Joker.
so. No, he's
I
not.
don't, I
You
think,
haven't
I
even
think-
seen the scene. How would you know?
I think this is him.
You
I
haven't
think this
seen
is,
the scene. You wouldn't know. You
I
have
don't,
not seen
I don't
it.
care. I don't want.
Listen.
I do not want to see Joker. That's the
I-
thing.
I-
I don't
I-
want him in the movie because he's in so much already.
Too bad.
I agree. I agree with you.
Thank
while,
you.
While I,
Somebody with sense.
Well, listen. While I think AJ will inevitably be right, sadly, I agree with you. I think the fact that, let's look at it from an environmental level, Gotham is underwater now, right? This is perfect for, like, maybe Mr. Freeze, even with the ice. But also,
yeah. Well,
also
what?
you have
It's
to
November in New York, underwater.
Well, listen. So, like, Mr. Freeze would be great. I think Killer Croc as a kind of secondary villain, maybe an intro villain would be great because it's underwater.
And we can still have a mobster like Falcone with Penguin.
Yeah,
Not being the villain, but being the mobster pulling the strings.
And you have to understand, so, like, these characters, too, again, lots of Batman's villains are multidimensional. Or, Mr. Freeze.
Oh, whoa. Hold on, let me put on Do Not Disturb. Sorry, that
continue.
was weird. That was a first. Keep
Just
talking.
continue.
That's fine. So, like, Mr. Freeze, he's lost his wife, or she's in Cactus Jack, right? And he will do anything to save her. And he was, like, screwed over by his. I think you guys all know the story arc of mister
Yeah.
Freeze, right?
I know the
Let's
story.
say if it's something different. So, like, his wife, he's a cryogenicist or something, or he specializes in military technology and stuff like that, right? And he's whatever. His wife gets killed by this, and he blames Batman, and he blames Gotham City, and he wants to go out and seek vengeance. That'd be, I think, that'd be a very good arc. I think Killer Croc too. There's been a lot of with him. One of his things is actually kind of his whole arc too is the fact that he turned to being a mobster or a crime boss or Killer Croc because of people always said, "Oh, you're Croc. Oh, you look like this." It basically has the character has a lot of commentary of how people look determines like who they are and and how like it's wrong. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. I think you're misinterpreting my Joker point. I never wanted Joker in the movie to begin with, but too bad. Suck it up. He's here. He's gonna be in the next couple movies.
No, stop arguing in the favor.
No,
that
I'm not
Joker's
arguing in
gonna be
favor.
there.
I'm not arguing. I never wanted
You
him to
are.
be in the movie in the first place, but he is, and you have to accept that. And I don't think you should use the argument he won't be as good as this, so we shouldn't include him. I just totally
agree.
disagree with that argument.
No,
I agree.
my argument is not only that he won't be as good, but that Joker's already been done to death. I don't
Yeah,
want
but
it.
that's no shit, obviously.
I
But he's
think-
here anyway.
You argued with me when I made that point.
So,
I'm just
No,
saying,
the only
I'm
point I
just
argued
saying
is that
he
you said he shouldn't. You don't want him in because he won't be as good, and I don't think that's
Well,
a reason not to include him. The
I-
reason not to include him is he's been done too many times. Not he won't be as good.
So I think with the
But don't you
Joker-
agree that he wouldn't be?
Well, listen.
Don't
Here-
know.
How
here-
can you follow an act that good?
Here's where I think
They tried to, and we got Jared Leto.
Listen. Here's where I think with the Joker, right? I think he will definitely maybe be in the later movies, but I think right now he should sort of play this kind of sideline villain. There have been many good stories in the past before the Joker blew up, kind of like some hype beast on YouTube, and before he went mainstream, there was like ones where, like I was telling you the other day, Nightfall, Scarecrow wanted to do this whole gas all of Gotham scheme, right? And he recruited the Joker because Joker had a more contagious laughing gas, right?
Yeah.
At least I believe so. I could be misremembering that, but what I know for sure is that Scarecrow had the scream, the Joker joined him as a backup. And I think if we got the Joker to do that more, not even become the big villain, kind of had to be and I think also have more love for the characters. People would be like, oh yes, the Joker, we're in his corner because he's great, but it'd be giving another villain the spotlight.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I think some good for the future of like this whole Batman universe. I think a few good candidates could be people like Scarecrow, Mr. Freeze, like I said, Killer Croc, Penguin might even be good. I hope
Penguin's already
Penguin's
there.
going to be in it. He's there.
No,
They're
no.
Did you guys see they're making a Penguin spinoff show,
Yes.
right?
Oh, I can't.
Dude,
That's
Hold,
gonna be.
hold on. Hold your horses, everybody, because if we've got a trilogy coming, I think obviously Penguin as like the head honcho and maybe Mr. Freeze and Killer Croc with him in the sequel. The
I don't
third.
think I
the
do not
third-
think Penguin will be prominent in the next movies. He
I think
already
he
had
will
his
be.
movie. He's getting a show. I don't think.
That's no.
I do not think.
I still think he'll be prominent in the way Falcone was, where he was.
I disagree. I don't think
where,
he'll be in
no,
it at
where
all.
he was an information guy, where he is like a bad guy, where he's a bad guy, but he's not the one out there killing.
He'll be
people.
in it, but I don't think he will not have a prominent role.
No, I don't think he's gonna be like
So-
the Riddler was.
And Falcone had the most
However,
prominent role. He was the
hear me
main
out.
villain.
So what I
besides
thought
Riddler.
is for the third movie, there's a good chance that it's going to be like Arkham Asylum Escape, and we'll get like Riddler and Scarecrow. But there was a hint dropped, and I want him as the third movie to finish this growth of Batman with Hush, because there was a
Hush,
hint. There was a
agree.
hint dropped about Hush. He is in nothing. He is in like a
Yeah,
couple of
I
the
would like to
animated
see
shows.
Hush.
And I want to see Hush because, from what I've heard, the comics that he's in also require like the best Batman detective work. And also, Hush was somebody that Bruce Wayne knew as a kid,
Well,
if I remember correctly.
Let's think about this again too.
I think that could add a good finale to the Bruce Wayne side of things, where it's almost like this mirror image of himself, where it's like this is somebody that turned to evil instead of good. Where like
No, but
he-
they
where,
already
like,
did that with the Riddler. They already did that.
Well, so
not really.
Yes, really.
Not
Here's
not
here's
really.
what I would
No,
find-
the Riddler was different because
wasn't.
no, because this one they were both vengeance, where Riddler was trying to take it out on the people he blamed for his problems, and they're both orphans, whereas Batman was doing the same thing, trying to take it out on the people he blamed for his problems. I want Hush to be the opposite, where Hush is like bad to be bad, basically, and Batman by this time is now like the ideal image of good now, and he's doing it to help everybody else.
So I'll say this about Hush. He was friends with Bruce Wayne, right? Mm-hmm. Bruce Wayne, from what we gathered, what we're feeling, he could be this kid with mental illness.
Yeah.
Like big time mental illness, big loner like vibes. Alfred couldn't. The only person he has is Alfred, right? How would it affect someone, especially like a loner, their only friend, to come back and be their greatest foe?
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
That has to be on someone's mind, like
Well,
in DC right now.
Because it was hinted
I
at.
doubt it. The leadership over there ain't too good.
Yeah,
I don't know.
good.
I don't know. I hope so because
someone on that crew.
because having that
Hopefully.
ending, having Bruce Wayne versus I can't remember the guy that is him, but Thomas Elliot, but also it being Batman versus Hush. Like I feel like it would be a good conclusion because that would be a good point for Batman to realize that this is the right thing to be doing. Like even though it's very hard to like have done this, it will put him through like the most strain because it's somebody who was friends with as a child, and it would be somebody that reminds him of a time before his parents got killed. But now this person he was friends with has turned to being the person he despises, the person he blames,
Yeah,
the group he blames for the murder of his
I
parents.
agree that I think Hush would be great. I also think Black Mask would be another really
agree
good
too. I
villain.
agree.
I think Black Mask would be really
He's
good.
very underutilized.
I feel
I've
like
only
he-
ever seen him in the
I agree.
Arkham games.
Yeah,
Nowhere else.
I feel like
Under Red
well,
Hood.
Black Mask also
he's
tends
also
to be
not.
a little bit more of a Red Hood villain.
They should bring Red Hood. He hasn't been in any live action. I don't want Nightwing. I don't want
I think-
Robin.
I think
I
so
want
too.
Red Hood. I want Red Hood.
Yeah, I guess you
think
need
it,
a
I think it would
Robin for
also
there to
be
be Red
cool.
Hood.
I think it would also be cool because I feel like there's enough now where it's like they make it public where it's like during the election it's like we have a vigilante running the streets. For Red Hood to come out not as what was Robin, but as a copycat trying to do it better.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Where
That'd
it's
be
like
cool.
there's a struggle between them, but they're not trying to kill each other. Where Red Hood is like, I'm doing it better because I'm killing them.
The problem is
but
that
Batman's
takes
like,
away
That's not the point.
that
Like,
takes away the personal element of the relation between Batman and Red Hood, though, which is kind of essential to their characters.
And
I think it's
Riddler
I think it's
already,
okay to spin it that way though.
but then it shouldn't be Red Hood. It should just be a new character. Then.
Well,
It should be Arkham Knight.
oh
No,
no,
God.
we're not even gonna get started with that. Just we're gonna cut that
Yeah,
out.
no,
Don't
we're not
even-
talking about
no,
that.
listen. Well,
Jack, we don't edit these.
no. Well, I'm saying if you're going to edit these for the first time ever, take that part out. No, listen. I think the Riddler already kind of did that. Like he was kind of like Gotham is XY. Is not good. Okay, yeah, Batman's here. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna take out people. He kind of already did that.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It also wouldn't make sense that because so many people associate Red Hood as Batman's greatest failure. His sidekick, the person he was supposed to not only save but also protect, turns against him and does arguably not a better job, but according to a lot of people, or maybe internally a better job. Not a lot of people, but internally a better job because he races these people from there.
Yeah, because they're no longer a threat.
But
You
at the
know, not
same
like, not like Batman isn't like crippling people and turning them into vegetables, but Red Hood's just got it more streamlined.
At the same time,
He just kills them right there. He doesn't kill them in the hospital after thousands of dollars of surgery.
Well, I was about to say, so like on that logical aspect, is he getting rid of crime? Yes. Is it the right way and the moral way to do it? No. According just from a Batman standpoint, I don't think putting people in the freaking hospital is.
Yeah,
You know.
I guess.
I
guess
kill them.
I guess
just
it's
break their
true. It would
spine.
be cool for Red Hood to be introduced, but I also, because this is such a Batman-oriented story, and I think it will turn into seeing Bruce Wayne emerge from the Batman, from the abyss that is Batman. It doesn't make sense to introduce a Robin. There's no, even though I think it would be cool to see Robin again, I don't think there's any chance that he'll get brought back.
I think Robin, other than like some of the comic stories, I think Robin with Batman cheapens the whole experience.
I don't think so. I think sometimes yes. I think it depends on the story. If
I
like
agree.
if you I like sometimes where it's Batman and it's just Batman, but I also think sometimes it is nice to have a dynamic with him as a father because he wasn't able to get that relationship with his father that he's trying to provide one for this kid and he sucks at it because he never had it.
Right.
So when he tries to provide it, he's usually subpar at it.
That's true.
Like that doesn't make sense. I feel like in this Batman universe.
I agree. I don't think they should do it in this one, but I think in some stories it works.
I think down the line in years they should. I think they should bring Robin back because Batman and Robin kind of got a bad rap. The movie.
Like in The Dark Knight when they bring in, what's your name? My name's Robin. Oh, I like your name. The
that's fun.
security guard at the end of Dark Knight
yeah.
Rises.
Oh,
Oh, your
that's
name's
funny.
Robin. And then movie over.
I think it could be done correctly. But I also think it would be like, because if they did it in the next movie,
They should not do it in the next movie.
I feel like it sort of could
They
be
shouldn't
done
do it at
correctly,
all.
but you would
They
have
shouldn't do
you would
it.
I
have to
agree.
show
They
Robin.
shouldn't do it.
Yeah, I also think they shouldn't do it, especially because this is already established to be about Batman's growth and his growth into
Well, do you even see how
into being a hero rather than just like a crime fighter.
not even a hero, but someone who does it for the benefit of others, not the benefit of fulfilling his own need to.
Yeah, well, because
become vengeful.
this whole one is like edgy Bruce Wayne. He's listening to Nirvana at the beginning and the end, and he's just beating up criminals to get it out, just because he's angry. But that's not what the end is like. Also, another point, going back to it, because you said it and it's wrong that Bruce Wayne's not in the movie. I think the most prominent parts that Bruce Wayne is in that I actually really like that it's
Is
done
he
this
really
way
Bruce Wayne,
in this
though?
movie is the journal entries.
I like to draw
Because
He's Batman writing them. He's
no,
fear
no,
me. This
no,
is not
no,
Bruce
no, no,
Wayne
no, no.
writing them.
No,
I like
because
the draw
that
entries.
because that is Bruce.
I like
Wayne.
him, but it's not Bruce Wayne.
Because that is Bruce Wayne. Because that's how he's thinking. Like that. Those are his thoughts.
Listen, boys.
That is the gray area between
right
Batman
quick.
and Bruce Wayne.
I gotta take a piss right.
yeah, I think we
can
should
just
end it. Let's
We're
just
at an
end
hour
it.
and a half.
We're an
Jack,
hour
you've
and a
made.
half?
Let's be
Hold
but
on.
one more.
Jack, you've made this our longest episode. This has been an absolute blast.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed this.
I
I
really like
enjoyed
the
it. Gotta do
superhero
this again,
episodes.
boys.
I like that we spent about 3 minutes talking about Moon Knight and almost an hour on Batman.
Well,
More than that.
We spent like 40 minutes on Batman, and all
No,
the
more
all the
than
rest
that.
is still
it's
superheroes.
a little. One thing I have to say though is Nirvana is the perfect band for Batman.
I
That's
don't know
true.
why it took so long
Perfect.
for them to
Yeah,
put Nirvana.
right?
Whoever made that decision.
Yeah, and you said the soundtrack wasn't perfect.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
no,
Did you
no.
listen to Something in the Way when
Whoever
the movie
decided to
opens?
make that the theme song, give them a promotion right now. They
Yeah,
deserve
they
it.
should. They should get a
do
give
one
him a
where it's
raise.
Like extra $500. Just toss them at him.
That's true. All right, thank you, Jack, for being our first
I'm glad I
ever
could be
guest.
here.
Yeah, we'll have to have you on again sometime.
definitely.
Yeah, do
Maybe
this
next
again.
time a Far Cry game releases and we can talk about the shit poop that Ubisoft puts out,
Yeah.
or new Batman
Their
content.
their copy paste method.
Yeah.
Yeah, the copy paste method.
Yeah, that they've been doing for 10 years.
Oh, it's epic.
But thank you for being on. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for being on. You're our first
of
ever
fun.
guest.
I'll do it again.
And our longest episode. You set 2 records at once.
Nice.
Double whammy.
Yeah, well, we
There
got
you
more
go.
people, more opinions. It's got to be a little longer.
That's true.
It's not just me and you talking back and forth now. Now there's a third.
Yep. No, we'll do this again.
Yeah, I think we'll do it again sometime. And to the listeners, thank you again. Hopefully our views pick back up down the line.
Well, we've been absent for a couple weeks.
That's true. Yeah, but our last video got just as
All
many as the
2 of you
Kanye
that made
video.
it this far, thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks for listening. If you made it to the hour and 33 minutes mark, maybe
Yeah.
this is
any
catching up.
final. You got the final word, Jack.
I had a good time.
Oh,
Wait, what about
nothing.
Wait, hold
No,
on.
don't say the word. I'm glad you had a good time, Jack.
I had a great time.
Now you get the final word.
Thank you.
You get one word.
Wow.